never gives up. He's always there, fighting for freedom over land and air. G.I. Joe! G.I. Joe is there!
G.I. Joe is the code name for America's daring, highly trained Special Mission Force. Its purpose? To defend human freedom against Cobra, a ruthless terrorist organization determined to rule the world.
He never gives up. He'll stay till the fight's won. G.I. Joe will dare. G.I. Joe.
Good morning, everybody. Mac here, and oh, look what we have here. Finally, the Baroness is in my collection. One of the figures that I was really shooting for when I started the Classified series, and it was a Cobra Island exclusive, sold out the first day, and we've seen them on eBay for like anywhere from $150 to $200. Sometimes I've even seen this set for $300, but Target and Hasbro, I don't know what they've done, but they resold all of their, or they are reselling all of their Cobra Island exclusives. I got this on pre-order about a month ago, and according to my Target app, these are going back on sale on August 1st. So if you don't have a Baroness yet, check out Target on August 1st, Target Online or the Target app if you have it, and see if they have any more Baroness and the Cobra Coil, because I know that the Vipers have actually gone back on sale as of this morning when I'm recording this. So I was able to actually order a second Viper for my collection as well. So Hasbro and Target are doing something that they're making it easier. Now all I need is a Beachhead. All I need is for them to re-release Beachhead and I'll be good. But what we have here is Baroness. Lovely, lovely Baroness. I can't wait to get this open, but let's take a look at the packaging. Of course, we have Baroness over here. We have all of the accessories that she comes with across the top. We have her coil, which is the motorcycle down here. I don't even know why they called it a coil. Just call it a motorcycle. It's just a motorcycle. We got some great artwork of her down here. I love this like, I don't know what's art's like, this cell shaded noir style art down here. And you see she has the Cobra up here with the laser coming out of its mouth, and that wraps around to the side. And we have some really good, let's turn this a little. We have a really good picture of her on the side that I might actually cut this out and keep this, because I really like this look here. And we have a much bigger version of Cobra Island right here on the back, which truthfully, it's the same picture that we've had. It's just bigger. And I don't know, maybe I'll keep this too, like just cut out the back here. On the side, we have what they're calling the file card for this. I hate this. This is stupid. But up top, Cobra Classified. G.I. Joe Classified, Cobra symbol. Oh man, I didn't think I would ever have this. I'm so happy. This has given me an idea of how big the box with the RAM and breaker is going to be. But let's stop talking about the packaging. Let's get this open, and let's finally take a look at G.I. Joe Classified Baroness. All right, friends, here we go. We're going to start with the coil first, just to get the motorcycle out of the way. The coil... The term coil has actually been used a lot in G.I. Joe lore. In this, it's actually an acronym. It's C.O.I.L. And I have no idea what coil stands for in this instance. But we have a pretty cool looking motorcycle here, predominantly red and black. I like that on the bike, the red is the dominant color and the black is sort of the accent, because it's a nice contrast to Baroness, who you'll see is predominantly black with just some red accents. I think the two complement each other very well. Now, there was some assembly required that this handlebar I had to pop in, and once you get it in there, the ball joint is really tight. It's not coming back out, but it was so they could just put it flush to the back of the box. But once you have it in, it stays in, and the handlebars actually move. They articulate on their own, so that a lot of times whenever you have a motorcycle and you're trying to put an action figure on it, the handlebars aren't always in the best position for the figure to grip. It's either in an awkward position or the hands stretch or something. With these, you can move the handlebars around once Baroness has them in hand, and you can position her however you want. Now, the only true articulation that it has is the front wheel, and even that doesn't move much. Okay, so, I mean, it's not going to do a whole lot, and truthfully, you're not going to turn it much anyway, because it doesn't really, of course, it's going to make a liar out of me. But when Baroness is on it, because I tried posing it with the wheel turned for the photos, and with Baroness on it, if the front wheel isn't straight on, it gets top heavy one way or the other. Now, it does also have a kickstand here. You see, it has just this little piece that flips down, and that is to support it whenever it's sitting there. But as you can see, even with the kickstand up, the wheels are flat enough and wide enough that the coil will stand up on its own. And even when you put Baroness on it, as long as the front wheel is straight on, she'll stay upright on the bike, and it's really good. And the wheels are not rubber. Well, they're not rubber, but they're like a soft plastic. I don't think they're real true rubber tires, because they don't have squish to them, but they're not solid either. But they do roll. The bike does roll on its own very well. I really like this bike. I actually like the bike more than I thought I was going to. I thought once I had Baroness and I got the bike out, I was going to be like, and didn't care about the bike. But it actually suits her very well. Now you have these mounting pegs, or these mounting holes right here. One on this side, one on this side. And what I didn't know until I got it out is these submachine guns, these Nerf guns that she comes with. You can see they have pegs on them like the Cobra Trooper guns had, and you can fit them on there so that the bike is actually armed. And truthfully, this is probably where I'm going to keep these. Because I didn't like these as weapons for Baroness. I mean, I like that Baroness got a lot of weapons, but I think these work better on the coil than her just hand-holding them. And at first I thought you could take the... hold on, let me find it. You could maybe take the assault rifle from the Cobra Trooper here, because it has the peg on there. And it does fit if you'd want to use those. But one, it looks kind of small. Two, it gets in the way because it sits further back when she's on the bike. And three, you'll notice that these are opposite pegs so that it can fit on opposite sides of the bike. Whereas the Cobra Trooper assault rifle just has the peg out the one side. I like the smoked glass of the windshield right here. There's a little bit of up and down to it. I don't think that's meant to be articulation. I think that's just the way that it's mounted. I also really like the fluorescent green that they have up here for the gauges on the bike. I really like that. And I also like that here on the tail, on the saddle bag, usually this is, like, I know people are going to think that might be a second seat, but usually this is something that pops open and there's storage back there. But I like that it has some weathering to it. You see how the paint is scuffed? Like, it's either seen some action or maybe it's been laid down. Don't know. But all in all, the bike is actually better than I thought it was going to be. She has these foot pegs here, but she also has these here if you want to put her in a more prone position like a Kawasaki Ninja would. I had her positioned right here. The only thing I didn't like about this is because of the shape of the bike, you can see how it gets a little wider back here. Her legs kind of bow out at an awkward position if you try and lay her down. So she'll look good from one side, but the other side will kind of be sticking out. I'll show you what I mean once we get Baroness in here. As a matter of fact, let's do that now. Let's set that back there, and let's bring in the Baroness. And, oh man, do I love her. Whoops. I've talked before about how some of the figures look like modern incarnations of their 3 3/4 inch. And a lot of the G.I. Joe Classified series has that armored look to it. So Baroness having an armored look to it shouldn't be a surprise for 2 reasons. 1, because of the line. That's just the way the line is. But 2, Baroness kind of had an armored look in the vintage line. This is her vintage look. A black leather armored bodysuit with a big red cobra on the chest and her glasses. And this, there's some like definite sort of Black Widow vibes going on with this, with the gray and the black and the form-fitting outfit and the armor and just the design choices, like here in the torso and down here on the legs. And I love that they added her boots in. Now, when we saw pictures of this, when we saw a production photo or production art for this, there were 2 main differences. 1, there was some gold in her, like here on the shoulder pads, and I think there was some gold even across the chest. Like it was a more regal version of Baroness. And second, she had purple tips. And I'm really glad that they didn't give her the purple tips, and she just has this long mane of jet black hair. The only place that they use gold on her is, let's see if I can focus in, right here on her glasses. You can see some accents on her glasses. And down here for the bling on her boots, the buckle on her boot right there. That's a really nice touch. I like that as a nice accent. You see how that looks with the whole thing in there? Now, these glasses are amazing because I've seen Hasbro mold glasses onto a figure before. And sometimes the glasses are a separate piece and they come off and they look too large and they tend to fall off. Other times the glasses are molded on, but this part right here, like between the lens and the face, is all filled in. This, the glasses and her face are a separate sculpt, but they did it so well and it's glued in place that they're not coming off. The glasses even have lenses, which blows my mind that they actually bothered to put lenses in there. Of course, they may fog up in the future and I'll have to clean them out, but... And look at while we have her up front, like, look at this face portrait. Look at this. This is going to sound ridiculous, and some people may think I'm crazy, but I look at her, and I can't help but think, did they look at Kobe Smolder for inspiration of what the Baroness should look like? Because this is a great face sculpt, and I swear to God, it looks like Kobe Smolder to me. And the photo reel that they did with the face printing, with the lips, and I don't know if you can actually see the eyes through her glasses on camera, but this is beautiful. And I was very fortunate that if you look here on this one, if you look on this one, and then on this one is a little off, I think, right here. But all of my Cobras match up. The paint isn't missed on any of my Cobras, and I am very fortunate on that because I have seen reviews before I got my hands on her that the paint missed the Cobras a little bit. But now that we're done gushing about that, let's get down to business. And let me find my tape measure. Give me 1 second here. Okay, here we go. To the top of her head. Let's get her standing straight up. So to the top of her head, Baroness is about 6 1/4 inches tall, which actually puts her about on par with the rest of the line. I'm actually kind of impressed that they didn't make her short, because in a lot of lines, there tends to be with the exception of like Wonder Woman or something, there tends to be this habit of making the female figures shorter. But she looks like she's going to stand up pretty much with the rest of the line. And while we have the tape measure out, let's bring the coil forward. And we'll get a measure on that. And from front of the tire to the rear of the rack, it's about 10 1/2 inches long. All right. Now let's get to articulation. If you take her head off, you can see she has a ball up top with a hinge right there. Now, So she can look down really well. Not so much up because of this mane of hair. She can do a full 360 if you'd want her to. She has a really good amount of tilt to her head because, let me pop this off once more. You have a ball joint and a hinge right here. But there's a ball joint at the bottom of the neck, too. So you have multiple spots of articulation just in her neck area alone. Her arms, she has these armor pieces on her shoulders, but they don't interfere, so her arms can come out to the sides. She can go all the way around. Now, she doesn't have a bicep swivel, even though she looks like she has a cut for one here. Like there might have been ideas to put a bicep swivel in there. And she has single-jointed elbows that don't do great things. They stop right there. And it's because of the cut of this armor piece on her, if you can see that. That they didn't want to trench the armor, and I get that, but it doesn't give you a whole lot of articulation. It does have an elbow pivot. Wrist swivel. Both of her wrists pivot up and down because she's a dual wielder, so I'm really happy they did that. Now, she has a ball joint at the waist. She has a ball joint at the waist, so she can get some really good swivel. But she also has, maybe it's a dumbbell in there. Probably a dumbbell. But then she has like a ball joint here at the waist as well. So she can get some really funky side to side. Between the two of them, she can really pitch forward if she wanted to. Really get her going back. But you see it gapes up front like that. She has drop-down legs. Oh, get out of the way there. Her legs drop down so she can come out to the side. There you go, not too bad. Forward. Backward. Double-jointed knees with some great travel on them. A thigh cut. Her ankle goes back. Her ankle goes forward, not too much, but then a forward-facing pin for the rocker. So once again, she has all of the articulation of a G.I. Joe figure. There's some issues here, though, where they definitely put form over function. Like this belt can get annoying. It can travel up and down on you. And a lot of the loose belts and loose things of the G.I. Joe Classified can do that. But this one particularly gets annoying, especially when you're trying to pose her on the bike. But you can't glue it down because where it's at, first of all, it sits really well. Like, that looks really good. It looks natural, like it should be there. But they're also using the belt to cover up the gap between her waist and her crotch piece. So it does serve a purpose. Also, you have these armor bits up here. Over here, it's just an armored pauldron. Over here, it's totally a snake head, and that looks awesome. I really like that. But like I said, the belt gets in the way sometimes. The detents in the ankles are going to need to be loosened up because they don't really give a proper neutral pose stance. She can't put her arms all the way down to her side. She can't really get any cross-armed poses, so even trying to put a rifle in her hands doesn't look natural, because if you remember when we were doing the Cobra Trooper, where did it go? I said I was going to try to put this in her hand. This is the rifle that came with the Cobra Trooper, because it looks like the rifle that she had from her vintage line, and I did get it in her hand. But there's a couple of problems. One, it's too big for her small hands, that like it actually started to stretch the fingers out. And I warmed it up a little bit to get them back into position because she was having a hard time holding some of her accessories, which we'll take a look at once I did that. But two, the gun is just too big for her, that she can't get a proper like two-handed grip on it just because of the limitations of the articulation of her arms. So she's not, function-wise, she's not perfect. Appearance-wise, face sculpt, everything else, I could not have asked for a better Baroness. So you're not going to get a lot of the dynamic posing out of her that you can out of some of the other classified figures. And it's not a female figure thing, because we saw Scarlet, and Scarlet you can do all kinds of things with. But with Baroness, It's just the limitations of the figure because of the armor, because of the figure that she is. But I will take the way that she looks any day, because this looks great. Now, accessories-wise, she comes with 2 golden pistols, which I'm actually starting to not mind these pistols. Because even though a lot of this stuff looks like Nerf, if you look at them real quick, these could be something like a Sig Sauer or something. So they look real world enough, like it could have been something that Destro made for Cobra. And she has these twin holsters on the back. You can just pop them in. I like that she dual wields the, I like that she has the rear holsters back there. I think that's really slick. It works for the bike too, and it just looks cool. And everything about Baroness looks cool. She has another accessory. She has this knife, which a lot of the classified figures come with a knife. And this is sort of like a mini version of the sword that Cobra Commander had, where it has this golden Cobra head up top. The only issue is that with her sheath, if you look at the sheath and you look at the shape of the knife looks like it should go in this way, and the Cobra head is turned around. You can put it in the other way, but it doesn't sit low enough, and I just think it sits too high. So get back in there. There we go. You saw the 2 assault rifles that you can pop these off, and she can wield them herself. But like I said, because she can't really get a decent 2-handed grip on them, she just doesn't look right holding them. So they will more than likely always just live on the coil. Something else that she comes with is this thing. And you saw it on the box that she was holding it. It wraps around her arm. And you can see on the inside that there is a gun barrel. Like this is some sort of funky robot laser Cobra. And you can see, I do like the detail work that they did to it. The fine detail work. Like you can see it in the red eyes. And the gold underneath the Cobra hood. And there's the gun barrel right there at the mouth, and it shoots the laser like a Cobra spitting venom. And it's kind of cool when she's holding it, but it's too top heavy that it won't stay up on its own. So she has to be holding it for it to have any effect. Something else that she comes with is this other head, and it's basically a motorcycle helmet. And you can see that it also has a Cobra motif. It has fangs coming down over the Whoopsie. It has fangs coming down over the visors. And it has like a Cobra head. Let me see if I can get a light on that. That doesn't really help. And it has that Cobra head motif. Even has some scaling done around the back here. That looks good. And to change that out, you just pop her head off. Be careful not to mess up the glasses. But when you push the helmeted head down on her, on the body, it doesn't really pop. And sometimes to me, it seems like the helmet sits a little too high. That I might Dremel that out so that it sinks a little lower. I'm not sure. Like, it doesn't pop when you push it on, but it pops when you pull it off. But I think she looks better with this head on her. And you can always use this as an accessory as well, because it's her helmet. She can be carrying it. It can be sitting on the bike. You can be doing all kinds of things with it. All right, here she is with G.I. Joe Classified, Destro, and Cobra Commander. She's a little shorter than the guys, but you can see she is pretty much on par with them. Destro is a little taller than the rest of him, or than the rest of the figures, but all in all, she matches up very well with the rest of the line. Here she is with Marvel Legends Black Widow series Black Widow, and impressively enough, she's actually a little bit taller than Black Widow. I thought they were going to be about on par. Now, this is the MCU version of Black Widow, so that's based off of Scarlet, and I don't know how she would match up to the comic Black Widows, but I'm kind of surprised that she's taller than this. Here she is with Jazzware's Fortnite Legendary Series Havoc, and I'm actually surprised that she's taller than Havoc, too. I thought they would have been about the same size, because Havoc is closer to a legit 6-inch figure than the rest of the Classified series, but You saw she could stand up to the Commander and Destro, so I guess that makes sense. Just for fun, here she is with the Lanyard Toys City Hunter Predator and Xenomorph Drone. And here she is with Wicked Cool Toys Spartan Collection Cat and Master Chief. So I am glad I was able to finally get Baroness. I am really glad I was finally able to get Baroness. If I hadn't been able to get Baroness, I honestly don't think my collection would have been complete. And she's essential to the line. She was second in command of Cobra. I say was because now she's left Cobra and she's off with Destro, helping him do his thing. But she was second in command of Cobra. She was an intelligence operative. She was a Rattler pilot. She was a HISS tank operator. I don't want to say she was a master of disguise because that was kind of Zartan's thing, but she was kind of a master of disguise. I don't even think she was originally supposed to be part of the line. They came up with her. Larry Hama put her in the comics, and she was never part of the original line. And then they tried to kill her off in the comics, and we were like, no, bring her back. And then when they finally brought her back, Hasbro finally admitted, okay, we got to make a figure of her, and we got the one that this is based off of. And her legacy has lived on. She's a great character, and she's a great figure. Now, like I said, she's not a perfect figure. She does have some articulation issues, but the form over function in this case, I am completely okay with. One thing I would have liked is I could have done without this robot snake laser thing, and in its place maybe gotten some additional hands or something else. I don't know. I feel like this was a waste of plastic, and we could have gotten more accessories with her. Like I said, another set of hands would have been really nice, but I do like the bike as well. So the bike is going to be a nice addition. I didn't think I was going to like it as much as I do, but it fits her. I mean, if you'll pardon the term, it's very sexy, and the whole thing goes well. Her and the bike go together very well. So I'm really glad I was able to pick her up. Now, like I said, on August 1st, she might be going live on Target again. She might be going live on Target.com and on the Target app. So if you don't have the Baroness, you might be able to get her on August 1st. Check it out. Check it out early in the morning, because if she is back on sale, she's probably going to go real fast. I was actually able to pick up a second Viper this morning. Like I said, I think I mentioned that at the beginning of the video. Also, I still have the Snake Eyes Origins classified Baroness coming, the 6-inch Baroness, and I'll be curious to put the two of them together and get a comparison to see how they match up. So until that happens, play well, everyone. Stay safe, stay healthy, and as always, thank you for watching.
He never gives up, he'll stay till the fight's won. G.I. Joe will dare. G.I. Joe!